most of us, a lot of people don't know when to say thank you. A lot of people think that someone's got to do something huge for them in order for them to say thank you. No. You're listening to Inside Young Minds, the podcast exploring the thoughts, fears, and hopes of today's youth. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back again at Inside Young Minds, where we explore the thoughts, fears, and hopes of today's youth. Today, I'm doing a solo, and I welcome you again, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your support, and thank you for always watching. Always remember to share whenever you find valuable information in this podcast. Anyways, so today I want to talk about a topic that might sound very simple, but it's very powerful. I want to talk about gratitude. Gratitude. What is gratitude? It's not being fake, trying to show the world that you have made it, trying to show the world that everything is perfect. No. Gratitude is finding the positive in the negative. Not worrying too much about what could be, but appreciating what you have in that moment. Now, a lot of people think that gratitude only comes when you have so much. They forget that even the little things you have matter so much. So today, we're going to sit down, dive deep into the gratitude episode, and see what we can find out. How can we be more grateful? How can we have more gratitude? Now, we know life moves fast, and sometimes we focused on what we don't have. We're so focused on what we don't have. The money we want, the relationships we want, the success we want, that we forget what's already here. Now, gratitude doesn't mean ignoring your struggles or your problems. Obviously not. It's not about ignoring what you're going through. Gratitude means noticing that even in those struggles, there's some things good. There's still something worth holding on to. So it's when we know, although we're going through a lot, although we don't have a certain thing that we want, although we're not where we want to be, there's something positive happening, even if it's the smallest part of your day, of your life. When you start to notice those positive things, although they're small, that is gratitude. So, example for some things that you can be grateful for. Let's say you woke up. Now, to a lot of people, that might not sound like a big deal. But you have to remember, you woke up, someone else didn't. So you have to be grateful for that. It might sound like a small thing, but it's really not. It's a big thing. It's the biggest thing. And that's the first thing that we must be grateful for. When we wake up breathing, knowing that there are other people out there who did not have that opportunity. Another thing, let's say someone checked on you. There are people out there who are crying for their family members, for their friends to even check up on them and see how they're doing. Now, you who has that, who have people who are checking on you, you think it's not a big deal, But the minute that changes, that's when you realize that maybe I wasn't grateful enough, because those things that you were looking down onto and saying they're too small, they were very big in someone else's life. Someone else wanted to experience that. Another thing is, let's say you're trying to build something for yourself, or maybe it's not working out. You still have to be grateful. You still have to be grateful. You know why? Because you still have the opportunity to try. You might face some struggles, but the positive thing is you are there to do it. You are there to fight. You are there to fight that struggle, and you are there to keep moving. And that's something to keep on. to hold on to. All right. Now, one thing I know for sure is that gratitude changes your mindset so much, so much. Now, a lot of people might look at it and say, "How can gratitude change your mindset?" Well, I'll tell you how. So when you practice gratitude, right, your brain starts to focus on what's good instead of what's missing. You know, let's say, hey, today I woke up very happy. I did not wake up with the things I was wishing I had, but I woke up and I was happy. I saw my family members, I saw my friends, I went shopping, I returned home safely. You get in a car, you come back, that's something to be grateful for. You go somewhere and return back home safely, that's something to be grateful for. Gratefulness, gratitude comes through so many things. It's not always the big things. The smaller things also matter so much. Now, the reason I say that gratitude changes your mindset so much is because, let's say, like I said, you're practicing gratitude and now you're starting to focus on what's good, what's the positive instead of what's missing. That shift itself can change your mood, it can change your confidence, your relationships, literally everything, basically everything. If your mood changes, you're a bit more happier. Your relationship becomes happier because you know why? You're grateful for every little thing that's happening. Now your confidence is boosted because now hey, I might not have everything, but I have some things. And one thing you always have to remember is that what you have, someone else is wishing to have it. The life you're living might not be ideal for you at the moment, but someone else out there is praying, and hoping they had that life that you had. That's why I say you have to be grateful in everything. For me personally, right? Um, there was a time that I felt like nothing was working out. Everything was against me. The world was against me, and then I was like, this is draining my energy so much. So I started to say, okay, things are not working out for me, but I'm still able to do some little things, like, let's say maybe I don't have money to go eat out with my friends, right? But I still have enough to buy groceries to make food at home. Like for me, um, a lot of things that there are situations that I've been through that have taught me how to be grateful, how to be grateful. Like, for example, let's say for most people who try to do things of their own, let's say you want to start a business or you get to a new job and then it's not going great. For example, let's use the job. You have a job, people that you're working with are not as nice as you want them to be, right? Or maybe you're doing too much work. But the good thing is, you have the job. You understand? You have that job. And yes, that doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but it is because remember, that job is feeding you, right? Now, it might not be ideal in that moment, but the positive thing about it is that you have that job. Someday in the future that you're working towards, you can move towards something ideal, more ideal than the situation you're in that moment. But also remember the positive that's in your life. Don't ever forget that. It's a big thing. Now, let's talk about gratitude in hard times when you're going through a lot. Life is kicking you left and right, left and right. How can you be grateful? How can you be grateful? How can you have gratitude in that moment? Well, first of all, let's be real. It's hard to be grateful when life is hitting you, literally. Because let's say you get in a car accident. In that moment, you should be grateful that you're still alive, but you don't think about it because who's gonna blame you? You're going through a lot in that moment. Let's say you can't make ends meet. You're not able to pay your rent, maybe your car insurance and all that. Those times are times where when you don't think about gratitude. Those are times you don't think about being grateful. And am I gonna say it's okay? Sometimes it's not okay, but we can learn through those situations. Now let's continue. How can we be grateful? How can we practice gratitude when we're going through a lot? Let's say when you're stressed, you're broken, or you're heartbroken, or you're broke, or overwhelmed. Gratitude is the last thing that comes to your mind. Literally. You're not going to think about that. Everyone knows you're never going to think about being grateful when you're going through those things because they're hitting you so hard. But let me say, you don't have to be grateful for the situation, but you can be grateful in the situation. I hope that makes sense. Like, let's use the car accident again. Like, you don't have to be grateful that the car accident happened, but be grateful that it didn't take you. So you were in that situation, right? But the situation did not end you. So that's what it means. You don't have to be grateful for the situation, but be grateful in the situation. Always remember, as I keep on repeating, little things matter, right? You're in a big situation in the moment, but within that situation, there's so many lessons you learn in there. Your life wasn't taken, you're still there. That's something to be grateful for. Now, you went through a hard time, a hard period, but you learned something through that. For example, let's say for me, I'm grateful to learn from so many people that I've had the opportunity to learn from. I've learned from a lot of people that I've met. I'm grateful that emotionally, I'm stronger than I was last year. I'm stronger than I was a few years ago. You know, like the pain I go through is not my end. The pain that I go through isn't the end of my story. So that is something for me to be grateful for. That's where my gratitude is supposed to be shown because, yes, I'm going through so much. There's pain within my story, but it's not the end of it. So I hope that makes sense. Now, how do you practice gratitude? How do you practice that? How can you practice gratitude daily and have it in your daily routine? Let's say, okay, some steps that you can take. If you have a journal, the little book to write in, I'll give you some easy steps. Write it down, and then if it sounds like something that works for you, you can practice that. If it doesn't, I'm sure there's so many ideas. You can even do your research. Say, how can I implement gratitude into my daily routine? How can I put that in my daily living, your everyday living? Well, number one, name something that you're grateful for. Let's say three things that you're grateful for every morning when you're waking up, or every night before you go to sleep. Keep it simple. It doesn't have to be too much. It can be food, peace of mind, music, friends, or even your health. No, not even your health. Yeah, your health, because it's a big thing. Another thing you can do, appreciate the small wins. Go, when you get out of bed, that's a win. You go to the gym, that is a win. You didn't give up today, that's also a win. There were situations where you could have given up, but you didn't give up. That is a win. Take it as a win. So start to see the small things that matter in what you do. Like, let's say, for example, you wanted to, let's say, start a business, and you had a hectic day, but you were able to register the name of your business or come up with the name of your business. That's a big win. It might not be that big in your eyes or your ears, but it's a big win because that's a step forward, you know? Um, Say thank you more often than not. Because I know most of us, a lot of people don't know when to say thank you. A lot of people think that someone's got to do something huge for them in order for them to say thank you. No, even in silence, thank you matters a lot. Even when you have gone through a lot, remember to be thankful. Thank yourself as well. Thank the people around you and thank the moments that helped you grow. Can be good or bad because the good moments help us grow. The bad moments help us grow too because they help us learn more on how we can grow to be better people. Now, let's say you have, in summary, what I want to say is, let's say you have friends who constantly check up on you. You have parents that love you, you know, you have siblings, that constantly show you love. Not only that, all those people I just mentioned, all those things I just mentioned, you have them. You have a life, you know, it's not perfect, but you have it. Like I said before earlier in the video is yes, you have a life that you might not think is good enough or as grand as you'd want it to be, but there's someone out there who wants your life. Maybe you want to be a millionaire, but you're not there yet. Remember, you are not a millionaire yet, but you have the opportunity and the strength to work towards it. That's something to be grateful for. You have a roof over your head. That is something to be grateful for. And also, always remember, being grateful doesn't just mean saying thank you to people, saying thank you to friends. It can show through the kindness that you have towards others. Help those who are in need. You might not have everything, but help those who don't have anything. I hope that makes sense. You don't have to be a millionaire to help someone. You don't have to be in perfect shape financially to help someone who isn't. No, you might have 1,000. There's someone who has zero. There's someone who's completely broke. There's someone who is homeless because they couldn't be able to get even that. So there's so many things to be grateful for, and there's so many other things that we can be grateful for. Let's learn to be grateful. And also, the other thing I wanted to say is that situations make us. There are situations that are going to break you, but they're not going to break you completely. They might leave you with wounds, they might leave you with scars, but they're going to leave you with a lesson as well. Whether that's through a heartbreak, whether that's through someone betraying you, whether that's through you not achieving your goal, but you learned something. So be grateful for that. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it here because, as we all know, nobody knows everything, and this is what I can come up with on this episode of being grateful, episode of gratitude. So thank you again for tuning in into Inside Young Minds. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, slow down. Okay? Appreciate the good in your life, whether small or big. Again, I'm your host, Jeremy, and I'm glad you're here. So, before ending this video, also, there's a little thing I want to talk about. So, for those people out there who have families, who have young kids, or young adults who are watching this video, those who want to build wealth for themselves, or for their family or for their future families, I have something that can help you. So, if it's something you'd be interested in, shoot me a text or a DM on Instagram and I'll give you more information on this. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in and I will see you in the next episode. But as always, keep on growing. Bye. Thank you for watching or listening to Inside Young Minds. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow and share it with someone else who might need it. You can also find us on Instagram at inside_young minds for updates and behind the scenes. Now, there's new episodes every week. But until next time, take care of yourself and keep on growing.